it wasn't my lack of trying. I wanted to be a street guy. We're gonna be disciples. We're gonna be baby disciples. And I'm literally carving pitchforks in my arm.
Oh, wow.
Literally.
Milwaukee,
Yeah.
Midwest. Yeah. What was that like? And you grew up in the church as well.
I grew up in the church and in the street on accident. I just happened to live in the streets.
What is Milwaukee like? Because I know Milwaukee to be a whole lot of players, a whole lot of pimping.
Whole lot of pimping, whole lot of gangster disciples, whole lot of vice lords. At one point, there was another gang, 2-7, like a whole lot of spray painting on your garage and a whole lot of all that, you know, which I thought was normal. You know, we played or tried to play basketball with the gangsters at the 38th Street Park. Only one of my guys was actually good enough to play with him. My guy Danny. Yeah. You know, he was just gifted at basketball. So, you know, all the gangsters would, he did, little Danny on my team. And they would pick, and I'd be standing like this. I just had to watch. He was but you know, and we just thought that was normal. Yeah. You know, we'd go to the park and watch the older guys play, and, you know, somebody get fouled too hard, somebody go grab their gun, sit it under the goal and say, now foul me like that again. And we'd like this, somebody gonna get shot. Check up. You know, it was normal. And then from there, I'd walk 5 blocks and go to church. Wow. Not a safe 5 blocks. So you have to walk that 5 blocks with your head on the swivel. Sometimes you had to run 3 blocks. Sometimes you walk fast, and sometimes it was a blessed day where you actually just got to walk regular. Like, okay, today was a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Did you have siblings?
I have a younger sister.
Okay.
She wasn't born yet, and I had an older brother. I didn't grow up with my brother. He was raised in Detroit. I was raised in Milwaukee. And at this point, my parents, my father was stationed in Greece and Italy. And so my mom went with him. My daughter was born. My sister was born. They took her. My grandmother wanted to keep me because she wanted to put me in the special school. It was a Spanish immersion school. So it was a school where I learned Spanish as my first language and English as my second.
That's impressive.
My grandmother being a school teacher and, you know, big in the school system, she said, baby, Spanish gonna be the first language of the United States. I was like this, what? Spanish? We live in Milwaukee. I've never seen anybody who speaks Spanish. I've never seen anything but black and white people. I'm now seeing white people, like, because I go to the school, was predominantly white. It's like maybe 3 black kids, 2 black kids in this school. And I'm like, trust me, baby, you're gonna need it. I'm like, all right. So,
that makes sense.
So that's why, you know, I went to, you know, so that was like, I go to school and I'm surrounded by predominantly white people, but I'm speaking Spanish all day. Can't speak English or you lose recess, get detention, all that type of stuff.
Oh, wow,
Kindergarten to 5th grade. And then you go, when I'm home, I'm in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Which is normal for us. It just is what it is. We gotta go outside. There was no staying inside. There was no Nintendo.
Nah,
Oculus.
We was outside.
I need to go outside. Right?
You were punished by being made to stay in.
Come on now.
Punishment
Please,
was
can
your
I
ass.
go outside?
Yes,
For the love of God.
No. And if you ran in and out and they say, listen, stay in or out.
Stay in or out.
Stayed out. You stayed out.
I stayed out.
You stayed out.
I don't care if I was dying of thirst. I don't care if I was hungry. I stayed outside.
Listen, I didn't give a shit if I was the only one outside. I'll be outside waiting on my friends, like somebody gonna come out.
Hey, I'm gonna play with these leaves until
you gonna take that whooping, go outside.
Right. Like we used to have these little things that fell from the trees. We used to call them helicopters. And then when they fall, they do like this. I'd be outside playing with the helicopters.
That's all right.
They thought I was special. But then you got the church component, which my family was heavily in. Grandmother being the dean of the State Baptist Congress and all these things. So I'm at church 2-3 days a week and in the choir and all of that. So, you know, I had a lot of different dynamics growing up.
That makes sense. That makes sense that you were influenced by someone and, you know, educated because the way you elocute, the way that you articulate. Yeah.
My grandmother.
Okay. Same with me.
So she was doing, you know, speeches and speaking engagements and preaching and all of these things. And I would sit and watch my grandmother on the typewriter getting her sermons and her speeches together and all of that and talking and then and talking it through while she's typing it. And I'm just sitting there like, and I'm learning, I'm processing, you know, how to do that at an early age. I didn't know.
That's funny because I watched a few of your interviews even before this, you know, and I was like, man, this Tank, he speaks so phonetically clear, like a orator, like a public speaker. Yeah. It makes sense now.
Yeah, my grandmother gave me all that.
Yeah,
she gave me all
same with my grandmother.
Pastor Mary Jean Giles.
Okay.
She would answer the phone. Mary Jean Giles. Say the whole name.
Yeah.
So you know the boss lady is answering the phone.
Right.
Hey, what I tell you, my grandmother was the same way. She was very poised. She was like Lena Horne. You know, she talked, darling. You know, you don't say that, darling. Very, you know, just bougie. You know what I mean? And my grandmother, same way, used to make me read the encyclopedia, the dictionary, quiz me on the words. I couldn't use ain't. I couldn't use, you know, words that weren't grammatically correct. I mean, I couldn't do none of that.
My grandmother was a bit more thuggish with it. My grandmother was articulate. Yeah. But she was also a goon. So it was, you know, it was like, don't catch these hands.
Oh, wow.
In the name of Jesus.
Right.
With a doctorate. Like,
that's crazy.
It was all of that.
Yeah. So how did you consolidate all of that? I mean, you in the church, you have that influence, but then also you got to go outside. You know, what kept you from, you know, going that way?
It wasn't my lack of trying. I wanted to be a street guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my guys and their family that I grew up with, like, they were street guys. They were respected, you know, in all the blocks. And they when they walked down the street, you knew they was walking down the street. And I was like, you're enamored. You're enamored by that. You know what I'm saying? My big Uncle Bernard would come through it. You know what I'm saying? He'd pull up and, you know, a few different kind of women with him, you know what I'm saying? He'd be, you know, talking the talk and moving fast. I'm just,
that was appealing.
I'm watching him like,
yeah.
So I wanted it.
That's right.
You know, I was looking for it. As a kid, we put a little group together as kids, and we was like, we're gonna be disciples. We're gonna be baby disciples. And I'm literally carving pitchforks in my arm.
Oh wow.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. I gotta have it. And again, it wasn't for lack of trying, but the respect that the neighborhood had for my family sent me home.
Right. That's how it was back then.
So when certain things was getting ready to happen, and I'm trying to tag along and be in it, as a man, you better take your ass home, little. Your grandmama kill us. No, you not. Go home. I was made to go home.
Wow.
When I wanted, like, the respect for my great grandfather, God rest his soul, Paul Lewis. Paul Lewis used to sit on the porch. Paul had Big Daddy had like a maybe 4th grade education. Worked in the steel mill, leather mill all his life. Had a half an inch of dead skin on his hands. Could, like a rock. He could hit. He could punch anything. He checked chicken grease with his fingers, see if it was hot enough.
Damn.
He come home and Paul Lewis come home and say, Paul Lewis home now. It's a big difference. And we just all sit at the kitchen table. And that resonated all throughout the neighborhood. He would sit on the porch, dip his snuff, drink his pipe, and a shotgun sitting right there. And when the gangsters came walking by, Paul Lewis would stand up. And they stopped talking. When they walk past our house, they say, hey, Mr. Lewis. And then when they get past that bush, he sit down. And then they start talking again.
Damn. Old school gang.
Yeah, I know.
When you refer to yourself in third person, you a bad. Yeah.
Bad. Paul Lewis.
Yeah. Paul Lewis. Paul Lewis.
Bad.
Right.
Yeah. And so, again, it wasn't for a lack of trying. The respect that, you know, that the neighborhood had for my family. So now this ain't you. We could never let you in this.